Greetings, millennials. My name is Apostle Jonah from Millennials for Christ Ministries. And at Millennials for Christ Ministries, we are redefining Christ through contemporary praise and worship. Follow us across all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course at www.millennialsforchrist.com. To all the millennials out there, I continue to pray and decree that kyonna kyoyitamu Mukama Katonda asobole okuyisaamu. It could be finances, it could be someone you're battling with illnesses right now in hospital, or a loved one, school fees, mention it. The Bible, especially in the book of Jeremiah, it tells us that God knew us even before when we were born. So we can only trust on him. Now, we continue on Why I Hate Church series. And as I continue to tell you, these people do not hate church. But nyumba efeteri agenda jikilinzinga. No one is going to clean our house. We have to do it ourselves. And I continue to tell you that I use the significance of our Lord Jesus Christ in Matthew 21:12, where he went and cleaned the church. It was filled with money changers. It was filled with everything. People ngabafu de kumulama. But Jesus Christ went and cleansed it. So as born-again Christians, we're going to have these uncomfortable conversations around our house of God and pave a way to cleanse it. Yes, it's a way to cleanse it. So we can attract people. Many people have moved out of church because of our conduct, especially we people that God has anointed on the pulpit. Our conduct. We don't practice what we preach. So people are frustrated, and we're here to have conversations. Today, I'm joined by a legendary media personality. I always keep on telling it to him, but pleasure having you, Tuff.
Yes, Apostle. Nice to see you, Apostle.
I like sharing my flowers with people. I watched Tuff B in the year 2009 when KUT was still airing on Friday, and just for only 30 minutes.
For 30 minutes, then Saturday for 2
hours, On TV, people that inspired me to join media, it was you, it was Katz, then radio, it was Alex Sindaula.
That is very
But you can see the character of people that can tell you something. Yeah. It was energy.
It was energy.
So it's a pleasure. Then I also had an opportunity that you could host me and we have conversations.
You're
it's
very
important.
Intelligent man, Apostle.
I'm very humbled for that.
Sharing your knowledge with the millennials. You're a very intelligent man. I must say they're in safe hands. Pay attention. You have no idea. He's a very intelligent man. You've been analyzing the music industry for quite some time, and you've been speaking reality, and artists have learned from you. What do you think? But now that you're an apostle, I believe the millennials are going to benefit.
Absolutely. So thank you. To start to begin, what do you subscribe to? What's your doctrine?
I'm an Anglican. I'm an Anglican, and I'm a Christian who loves God.
Close at the microphone.
I'm a very good Anglican who loves much to serve the Lord. Yes.
Were you born an Anglican? Is this something you converted to?
I was born an Anglican. Yes, I was born an Anglican with a father who's an Anglican to date. Yes.
So do you go to church every Sunday?
I don't go to church.
What's your worship? Then how do you worship?
I'll be honest with you, and this I'm going to say to you, Apostle Nalebo. I'm going to raise it not only with me, but with the entire youth of my generation. We grew up where church were taken to church by our parents, our dads and moms. And I would contemplate and take Uganda so people can understand me even much better. But the apostles, the preachers, to date, the priests, refused to have a message of the young youth generation. They kept on preaching a message yagenda ngeri bazadde baffe ne bataata baffe betuze nabo mu kanisa, but they never communicated to the young youth. That's why this generation has run away from church. What do I try to mean? Omwana aba akula ngayita mu adolescent age ngaafuuka omuvubuka, there are lots of questions in his head as a young man. He has hard-ons in the morning, zatategeera lwaki zijja. He's seeing a young girl who's attracting him, but you coming to church afune message okuva eri ba priest, ba reverend, ba pastors, ba communicating enjiri gyategeera eddamu ebibuuzo bye tebagimuwa. Enjiri yaabwe we are driven to our fathers and our mothers. So kati omwana bwe twafulumanga church ng'okwata headphone n'ozissa mu kutu, guess who's preaching the message oyagala okuwulira? A rapper, bwe tuyita musician. yayogera ku laavu y'akawala ke wabadde weegomba wali, yayogera ku sleepless nights za relationship ng'oli mu laavu. They relate with what you're going through. So the artists, the rappers ended up becoming our idols, our pastors, our counselors. Ontegedde kyova olaba of late in this generation pastor asooka okugera ekintu ne batamuwuliza, but celebrity asooka okugera ekintu omwana n'amuwuliza because y'abadde omubuulirizi we right from the day one ng'ayita mu transition y'okufuuka omuvubuka. So if you, the people in church, can understand until whoever does not own the youth has no future, your message in church must be direct eri abavubuka. Because as they grow up nga bakula mu maka g'abakitaabwe ne bannyaabwe, there's a lot of questions in their heads. Their mothers and fathers are not home, bali mu kunoonya mmere ya leero. So when they come to church, the only solace is the pastor n'omubuulizi. Kati if the pastor n'omubuulizi, their message is going eri abazadde nga tayogera directly to the youth, won't have a future of church.
Oh, so I get you. So one of the things that has kept you out of church is the many servants or the clergy of God have not synchronized their message
to us. They make you seem so dirty. They make you seem like you're doing way too bad. Yesu kyatakola. He sat with us. He's reasoned with us. Okitegeera. Naye pastor wanaakulaga ye message ye egenda eri bazadde. Egenda eri.
Do we have him?
Egenda eri taata wange ne maama wange. It's not communicating to me. Okitegeera. You're telling me I should pray and God is going to show me a breakthrough. You're not showing me how to look for a job. Bwe nzija mu kanisa yo oli mu kuŋŋamba Mukama ajja kuddamu essaala zo, naye toŋŋambye wake up in the morning, genda mu Popular Daily Morning toba New Vision, laba emirimu emireka ebirimu, apply and knock every door until you knock the right door.
Learn to work for free.
Exactly. Learn to work for free. Chase the dream, not money. Let money catch up with you later.
Right now, by the way, for example, you've talked about that. Right now, often you get an opportunity, you call onto someone, tell them I have this kind of job opportunity. The first thing they ask you is how much are they paying?
How much am I getting?
Yet for us, we worked for free.
Na label for twagendera ku TV, we were not looking at salary. We were so much consumed by passion. Wagambanga n'ogamba tewali kamera n'ogiborrowinga somewhere for you to get to execute your assignment. Okitegeera ekita kyaliwo kati. So the pastors and reverends n'ababuulizi b'enjiri, they must change the way they speak to the youth. Okitegeera lekera ogamba omwana nti saba Mukama ajja kuddamu siga ekimu ky'ekkumi. No, mugambe omaze campus tegenda kusanga mu nju. Mugambe wake up every morning, look for a newspaper, look for every job opportunity, knock at every door. Sole gweko ngato, don't you give up, because God is going to reward you through your hard work. If you knock on 10 doors, olw'omwenda ajja ddukuwa. Ontegedde. That's the gospel unto here. Neza akulya gospel ya saba Katonda akuyambe.
Where born again Christians have replaced hard work with prayer with laziness.
Exactly. Siba saba is the order of the day, and which is wrong. Tell the young men that look here, as you find a job, do not look at how much you're going to get. Go find that job, give it your all, let money join you later. But it is add value to yourself. Engage yourself in different skill. Let people see value from you. Don't go looking for a job. Motivate them and teach them in a way that is complex. Am I making sense? But if you keep teaching them in the same doctrine, saba, siba, saba, Mukama ajja kuddamu essaala yo, that's why we have almost 80% unemployed youth in Uganda. And people like me have gone an extra mile to Gamba. No, how do I get this job thing in Uganda? That's why we're joining politics. That's why we're becoming leaders. Because I'll give you an example. Much in the East, 90% of the youth are in America. And how am I trying to fix that? I'm like, this is the most wealthy constituency. Mwe muli Mukwano, mwe muli Total head office, mwe muli Shell head office.
You even have
mwe muli medical stores.
Monitor publication is still
all of those are supposed.
IHK is yours?
Exactly. But no kula kuna kitu mwakolida nga bawa abaana baamu emirimu. As Ham was opening na Kivubo, I was doing cut live there. Nembuuza Ham abakyala abeera ebbunga mu nnyonyo gaba obajja wa? Nangamba mbajja mu Kisenyi. Nembuuza how many are there? Nangamba there are 350 women. Nembuuza how much are you paying each of those? Nangamba emitwalo 3. Nembuuza lwaki tewabajja mu Much in the East? Nambuuza mbasangewa. So I come up with a plan. And I'm telling you, let's open a job center in Namuwongo. Let every youth atayina mulimu akwatenda nga muntu ye ebbaluwa ya LC, ebbaluwa ya chairman, photocopy ya permit abiwe omuzaawo. If you tell mukwano Sechide Robert wants to see you akubuuza yani, but you can't tell mukwano the area MP wants to see you mwokolera
Nagana.
Then bwandaba mugambe boss, you're employing 400 drivers mpako 10. Bayaye bajja kunziba, no, we have every detail ebakwatako. These are kids who have been raised from this constituency. Tumanye wokumujja angambe nkuwadde atano ngende medical store, same story, ngende waham, same story. Now apart from that, being in the media for a long time, no media house
have that influence.
Tewali media house agenda kunsaba sente kulanga kintu kiyamba community nkuba akalango kange na lebo ononya mukozi wawaka ononya mukozi asawa lujja asigalangi jangu ku job center yafe namungo tukuwa omuki omukozi kitegeeza beti we muyenga takyakuba masaka kufuna maid agana mubona mumpe yakawala yakawanga emitwala 2 mu mwezi ni mukazi mufumbo n'abana 2. If I can create employment, I'm solving 99% domestic problems.
Amazing. Yes. So what I get from you is one, for us as preachers or the clergy, we must make our communication relevant to the times of now
and relatable.
We must not. I also don't like those things of where you're telling people have to pray the entire night.
Exactly.
Abantu buli kimu kusiiba.
Exactly.
Saba.
Apostle, omwana
because even in the beginning with the book of Genesis, the Bible typically tells us that through our sweat man shall have something to eat.
Exactly. Apostle, you're telling omwana asiba olunaku lulamba. I know mulimu. They can't perform to their best because basiba, they are fasting. They end up losing their job. So we need exactly. We need a relatable kind of gospel that speaks to my common sense solutions to common sense problems. Omwana mugambe sababa, don't just pray. Wake up at 3, pray. By
don't learn a skill.
Exactly.
People are going to pay for a skill.
Exactly. Add value kugwe, then you can get a job. Mugambo oli wano mu church osaba yige chuma, learn how to play guitar, learn how to play jazz. As you look for that job for you to get employed as a human resource, start.
And by the way, you're talking about instruments. Most of the musicians we actually have now, they learn most of these instruments in church.
Exactly.
So first, what we've seen is Tuff B is encouraging that to the clergy, we must be able to synchronize and evolve our messages to these young people and make it very relatable to them. And it's very, very important. Because the problems of the Gen Z are not the problem of millennials. The problem of millennials are not for the Generation X, Generation Y, like that.
Exactly.
So it's very, very important. 2, what's the other thing that has kept you out of church?
First and foremost, that. Then secondly is not practicing what they preach. I'll be honest with you, Apostle. The most kind people are covered in tattoos and earpins and rarely go to church and drink in bars every day.
Repeat that.
The most kind people are covered in tattoos, they wear earpins and sleeping in bars and they drink every day. But the most evil people, the most bad people, the most abantu abasinga obukopi, abantu abasinga obutaagaliza are praying every day because they know their weakness. So they keep their hands in front of the Lord and calling, yet their hearts are not clean. That keeps me out of church. Omuntu asinga omutima omubi asiiba awanise emikono ayambala essuuti ayita Yesu. Naye ate omuntu asinga omutima omulungi alina ttatu ku mubiri alina pini asula mu bbaata linnyana mu church. So these examples in public make you realize that, hey, whoever goes to church has a lot to ask God for forgiveness about. Am I making sense?
The person that goes to church
every day, 90% of them basaba nnyo because there's a lot they're asking God for forgiveness. Babbi bakumpanya balimba bayaye, so they keep their
but then the house of the Lord is for those sinners.
Exactly.
So that's what we are going there.
When you read these examples, nosanga omusajja asiba akusabisa ng'ate owulira yatwala ettaka ly'abantu. Omusajja asiba akusabisa yasendinga ba squatters off their land. Omusajja asiba akusabisa yagoba mukazi we n'aleeta omukyalo omulala mu maka. Omusajja asiba akusabisa yayimirira ku pulpit n'aswaza omukyala gw'alinamu abaana. They don't practice.
They're not leading by example.
Exactly.
But Tuff B, that sends me to something. Tuff B, you know that our parents were very practical.
Yes.
You know that our parents were of value.
Yes.
There are things I see certain now and I ask myself, how come Mzembera n'emikwano gyange and we're having laughter and what? And I keep on asking them, were our parents also like us? Because even when I saw my father with his friends, they remained on the subject.
Exactly.
They were focused.
Exactly.
So I keep on asking myself, this generation is where you find adults doing TikTok videos because they are looking to be viral.
Exactly.
Is when you find an adult, ngali social media, kuvuma. Is where you find an adult, for example, like yesterday. Sorry for this. I saw in the parliament, whereby omuntu akulira parliament, the speaker, is being tribal on an issue that is national. We're saying abaganda tobawa, tobakkiriza twautunamba. So I'm like, where did we go wrong? Sometimes olaba naffe tuli babuulizi, bakituka ne kigamba, is the world so much under attack by Satan? I really don't know. Tuff B, you've explained. You find a leader in church, ngate, when they say about marriage, is telling you to keep your marriage.
Exactly.
And it's the one that is failing. Okay, we can say you can fail because the Bible does quote divorce, especially in the book of Matthew, that it can happen. The Bible actually talks about divorce, but does not encourage. But it recognizes. It does not look at it as an alternative, but it recognizes that it can happen. Actually, Jesus Christ says, especially under circumstances of adultery. But you've had issues with your partner. It is okay. But why do you bring that in church? Then you're like, okay, are these elders?
Now, this is why I'm telling you, shenakuganga tutandika mbu the message nga tukula tebagituwaffe abaali bakula.
Ate kati be bakulembeze.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Are you getting me now?
Yeah.
Now, time to until the pastors then nga tukyali bato, as we were growing up, they were supposed to communicate to us, but they were communicating to our fathers and mothers who have now died. Now, because they didn't communicate to us, abaali bakula, this is the mistakes you're seeing. Tetuli babuulire. Case in point, taata wange dda maama bwe yanyiiza nga maama wange n'amunyiiza oba taata wange n'abaligamu banaakola ensobi. Maama bwe yanyiiga nga yalongoosanga nnyumba the whole day, n'ajjayo n'ebisero by'abadde yatereka edda n'abirongoosa byonna, n'asiimula ennyumba yonna, n'ajjamu nabiwonna, in the process expressing her anger through doing her work, her chores at home, nezaba etakola. My father would feel remorse. N'agamba mukyala wange nno bw'olaba atandise n'okugyayo ebisero byatatera kuzinga n'abizinga, she's not happy. Then he would look for a way to calm her down. In this generation, bw'onyiiza your partner agenda kubira exa afulumirewo agende out. Now ogende out. Then you come up in the morning. Then before you know, the home is broken. So the women now do not have our mother's kind of character. Our mothers got mad and put their focus on the chores to calm them down. After she had the long day of washing out of clothes, cleaning the house, she ended up calming down because our father knew, okay, she must be mad. In the process, they made up.
Amazing. I think I should be hosting Tuff B often. And for me, by the purposes of these conversations, is Tuff B, I recognize that right now the church is under attack.
100%.
We must do certain things, and I'm not going to do anything on my own.
Yes.
So the reason why I bring people to have these conversations here is to find ways for me, one, to learn, but also how do we best harness this? Tuchirongosa tutya, because this is not the job of me alone. But when I have that, I learn from you. You see the problem with most of the clergy, have made themselves to look like they are all knowing.
Exactly.
Which is wrong.
Which is wrong.
And for me to make the church or the house of God
understand
or good, I must involve other people, because the church does not run on me.
Exactly.
It runs on you, the recipients of the messages as well, the followers of Jesus Christ. So for me to achieve that, or as Millions for Christ, for us to be able to achieve that, is must have this conversation, and it's very pertinent, is that we must understand, actually, the backbone for Millions for Christ Ministries. Many people ask me, why did you then create Millennials for Christ Ministries? What was your revelation? And why do you call it millennials? This is what I got to understand. This is how my revelation came. I understood that for us as millennials, we have lived before and after. We've lived before wars and after wars. We've lived before technology and after technology. We've seen literally everything.
Exactly.
But to go back to your point, as we are growing and we have a younger generation, which is the Gen Z, they don't have mentorship.
Exactly.
But also equally, us as millennials, we are lost. So we are focusing on the millennials so that we can harness the next generation. So that mistake you're saying is not repetitive.
Now, I think you're doing a good job.
You got my point.
I get your point.
You got my point. Yeah. So that, because during our time they were communicating to our parents, so we're having those challenges. Can we then, as a generation, as millennials, can be able to tackle issues of our generation? Let's be someone coming from our generation. If you're looking for someone who is good at ICT and innovation, let's be coming from our generation. Chino manyo tafo kera. Natugamba fa abalokole tulina a very supernatural revelation. But when we go into parliament, mu bakanesi abesimbyewo munana ku bwa presidential, tekuli mulokole. So our revelation is what? Is in church? Is it just praying? We must be able to tackle these things.
That is why people are running away from church. Because when you wake up one morning and you're a religious leader, you are a pastor, you have a calling, you are an apostle, you are a prophet, and you adamantly stand in front of a crowd that is being tormented with a lot of atrocities by this government, and you're telling them this government is good because of committing atrocities, you look stupid.
I was here with the teacher. The teacher told me the problem with the church and the state, and especially in Uganda, the reason why come again, the reason I'm forgetting it. He told me the reason why Balokole overpraise the president is because for them they think the president restored born again or Pentecostal church in Uganda. So instead of condemning or checking the state, they keep on saying, Museveni yatuzana o. So
They don't untaxed. They are protecting themselves because they're not taxed. Whatever they bring, bit church material, bit what, they're untaxed. Their earning is unquestioned. They're trying to protect that. Now, in the eyes of a Gen Z or what this generation who is equipped with knowledge, aina YouTube, aina Google, they lose respect for you. You'll come and speak to them and don't even listen or pay attention.
So okay, very, very good. The fact that you're actually joining politics, I want us to focus there. How can the church and the state work together and still be? I keep on saying Nicole Machevide says the church and the state must work in harmony.
Exactly.
One of the biggest.
No, the church is supposed to keep the government in check. There's a polite way of you saying, okay, the young Gen Z, you're talking about well, I condemn government here. However, namwe mwaba provoking. Keep them in check. Netogenda kujogambe banange church ababadde ku kiseka bafunye ebizibu byabagwanidde lwaki bo besimba mu government. There's a difference.
What of the pastors that are saying if the president can go, the son can also come?
You see, that's what I'm trying to say. They are protecting their interests.
And then they will hide behind saying
exactly.
the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
And that's the problem. Kati nkulaga church wogamba mweli under attack. It is the pastors, the preachers because you're standing in front of a crowd. You're standing in front of a crowd. You're standing in front of a crowd which is over being taxed. You're standing in front of a crowd with jacket by force, and you're telling them government and you look stupid in front of the congregation. But there's a way you can relate the church with the population, and the government can work together with church. Okorotia, Jango Gambe, yes, I'm prophet, I'm apostle Jonathan Nalebo. And yes, I must agree with you. Government chiakoze, a church tezi, chabade chibibala gajaria kasasiroyo. Never na sagara munenye Museveni. Munenye ba akozesa, munenye KCCA. Because KCCA juwa budget buli mwaka. Rachi ku budget yote ya manyambo ina an immediate case ya chitezi. So as you blame Museveni, as you blame his government, let Banabakulia KCC also answer a question. You get me? You're making the congregation look like you're being fair. Obasonze munsobi yabwe naye ate ne congregation yinyonyo ate mulumba nnyo government kuba si ino omusango guli ku Museveni guli kwani guli kwoli akulia KCC. Common sense solution to common sense problems. So it's common sense reasoning with relatable issues. But you want to come to church na lebo and tell the congregation ateta ata bwatumala omwana atukwate. You know this is not a monarchy. Jango gambe okay banange manyi mwena mwina
democracy under the Commonwealth.
Bagambe guys, I'm Pastor Jonah and Jonathan Nalebo, and I think you all have questions about what is happening. Yes, Museveni has prepared his son. Which son will come? It's his right to question about it.
Absolutely, it's constitutional.
But if we don't want him, I'm thinking nothing to challenging and candidate. You're playing the fair game. You are the clergy. Your job is not to take a side. Your job is to play Jesus. Your job is to do what the apostles did. They welcomed everyone. But you're not going to say no to Bobby Wine and then welcome Museveni and expect to earn the respect of
one thing that amazes me is when I see them attending all national events, and as of the alternative government, they don't want to attend them. And when you tell them, they say they will give very fun excuses. We invited very late. And I think the role of the churches we should be welcoming to everyone.
Ngenda ku blaming a church naye ate njuirating neighbor elites banalebo you the apostles. The church is like the elites who are saying the parliament is full of Ozambes. But the elites are selfish. They are protecting their interests. Nze kasita nyina kamoro kakange nyina ennyumba yange sigenda genda mu ebyo. they think of themselves. They don't think of the people. So church and the elites are the same character. So omuntu ajja gamba kimu omusajja tatutakisinga musolo tuleta container zaffe zijjudde amatiles we tugenda gatunda ne tumulimba ga church nakkiriza. They are protecting their interests. Show me a church erina ekyapa mu linnya lya church. Ebyapa biri mu mannya g'abapasita. So that's how you have lost the respect of the congregation. That is why you're saying church is being attacked. No, it is the manners of the people who stand behold the pulpits, who represent God, who respect, and their behavior does not reflect their message. Because oyimiridde mu maaso ga congregation oli pastor Semondo otandise okugamba abantu mbasaasidde nalabye ono awoza mbu agenda kujjako Museveni yaani toyina. You are abusing him. You're not reasoning with the public. Omuntu gw'ovuma ali mu kuleetenga ne public agamba bannange abantu mwabasengudde ku ttaka lyabwe. It is wrong. And you're telling people ono byakola bya kisiru who they see. Will we keep the respect of the congregation? So church is going to lose it. Like I said, kiva way back. Twakula message tegenda eriffe egenda eri bakitaffe ne bamama baffe. So they began to lose us. And by this generation of the Gen Zs, church is going to die out. But I want to applaud a pastor like Tom, who I've listened to on radio. He has very realistic and relatable messages. He's a teacher, more of a teacher. He will not tell you saba. He will show you how to work, how to create a job, how to jumpstart yourself, which is very good. I want to thank another one now. What's he called? I never vubuka banji. Fanero is trying to do a good job. He's teaching. He's not pushing people to church. His message is relatable. I want to thank Apostle Jonah, the millennials, you're doing a message that is relatable. So, yes, chigenda kusoboka. But as you grow this, let the pastors, let the preachers understand one thing. They must welcome everyone. If they want to get the respect a public again, church feeling attacked, let them welcome everyone. Let them sit down with this government. Look here, we're going to keep you in check. Because we're not going to be against you, but we're going to keep you in check. And that is how they're going to earn the respect of the public.
Amazing conversations. I think Tuff B gives us a good perspective on what we need to do as the church and how we need to harness and understand that we're not serving our personal interests, but we're serving the interests of everyone else. And also, it's very important to understand that when God elevates you, He's putting you at that point to help others and not actually serve you as an individual. And I think these are notes, and I hope that to all the pastors out there, the apostles, every clergy, we are taking notes and try to harness and make the house of God even better. Any other thing? Or
those are the major things. I want to see a church that invites Museveni and Bobby Wine in the same place. And I want to see a church that says, okay, outside politics. Like we see the St. Charles dinner in America. No matter how Trump is against Kamala Harris, this dinner of Catholics brings both candidates together. And they get to enjoy an evening of dinner minus politics, throwing tantrums at each other and shaking hands to show that yes, we might be rivals, but again, this is just we're playing politics. We're looking for a way we can have to serve the people. So I want to see a church that welcomes His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and tell them, guys, you're not here to talk politics. We are just here to see you shake a hand and know that whatever both of you are representing is for us, the people.
The people, absolutely.
And I'm telling you that picture that shows whatever both of them are fighting for is in the interest of personally, I want to address this statement. Politics is misunderstood. Politics is addressing the affairs of the people for the people. But
by the people.
But in Uganda, politics is addressing the affair of the people for the leaders. You understand? So now the leaders have to change the meaning of politics. Address the affairs of the people for the people. I want to see you invite both parties. And if you're in church, I want to see Pastor Bujingu. Let me call names. I want to see Pastor Kayanja. Let me call names. Much as you stand, behold your people. Stop telling us about which investor you brought in. And when you went to meet the president about that investor, God told you, the Spirit of the Lord told you that this is going to be a big investment. I don't want to hear that message. I want you to tell me that me as Pastor Kayanja, I've sat down with the president and I've said, hey, look here, old man, listen to what this young man is saying. Never know God is using them. God used David before Goliath. You're a Goliath. This young man might have reason. Listen to what he's addressing. He's telling you, which I find valid. He's telling you, Ngudombi, which I find valid.
Structure.
Yes, as we support you, as Miracle Center supports you, Mr. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, please address these things. Naffe tufune kye tugamba abantu. Then there, the respect of church
will resurrect. Absolutely. As we are coming to the end, Tuff B, what are your two? I think you bring out very pertinent issues that I'll continue to reflect on, and I hope that every listener, every viewer out there reflects on. But you've told me you're an Anglican.
Yes.
What are some of your all-time favorite gospel songs? Two gospel songs.
I'll tell you, I love Morgan, Gramps Morgan. If you give a little more than you take, there's a place for people like you. The world reciprocates. That's why I love that song. The world reciprocates. Nalebo, when you wake up one morning, nga universe or you are, igenda kudiza. Chovula agamba, if you give a little more than you take, there's a place for people like you. You get blessed eventually. Ndwagala nyoro. Then locally, njagala nyembera le Vixen and some other young man. Chimbo nyabo nyambera mbe. Relatable music. Nemo music. Apostle, mulimu relatable messages. Zoli anugamba. I would be better singa simbera. So those two songs. Globally, Gramps Morgan, give a little more than you take. Then locally.
Can we have more of it if you a cappella more?
I love that part. Samanya Vera Morgan.
Yeah, it's called Morgan. I'm forgetting the name. Yeah. So those two. Tuff B, it's been an honor and a privilege to have you here. You've really shared very pertinent conversations.
Any day, my brother.
And I'm very humbled to have you here. Very humbled. Maybe your parting shots in a minute. The fact you see for politicians, if opportunity you get,
you use it.
So maybe your parting shots, one in 1 minute to the church, but also two the parting shots to your electorate. Yes.
The church in Abagambe, like I've said in front of Apostle Jonah of Millennials, you go back to the drawing board, start to put out a message that is relatable with the people. Welcome everyone. Stop taking sides. Because they can see facts. You can never hide the facts. So when you bring that relatable kind of message, no yaniriza fenna maso g'abantu, abantu bagenda kudamba wekyaki ekitiibwa. The political world, the political people, stop voting colors and whoever's coming which color. Much as we might want change, and I'm very supportive of the Right Honorable Senator Muchagulanyi, but mulonda abantu abakozi abagendo bakolera. We are here to fight for change, but yes, amaanyi g'abantu getukkiririzamu. So nga mugenda mu kalulu ka 2026 mutunuulire nnyo abantu agenda kukola ki anaakola ate muve ku bantu abasuubiza mubere ku bantu abakola abalina kye balagawo nti bakoze.
Amazing. My name is Apostle Jonah. This is Millennials for Christ Ministries. Follow us across all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course at www.millennialsforchrist.com. Do not forget at Millennials for Christ Ministries, we are redefining Christ through contemporary praise and worship. Do not forget, still, we are highly favored and exceedingly blessed. Tuff B,
thank you for watching Apostle Jonah at Millennials for Christ Ministries. May God bless you in this new week. Do not forget, at Millennials for Christ, we are blessed and highly favored.